Hey, what's up guys? Sean from Triggered Precision Machine. Last couple of videos we went over a whole bunch of stuff related to precision rifle shooting. Yesterday we had a video on how to shoot smaller groups on the bench. And before that we had a couple videos on reloading. So that has spurred a lot of good comments in the comments section, and that kind of led us to what we're going to talk about today. So today we're going to talk about precision rifle reloading on a budget, and then we're also going to talk about some of the dead ends that I've experienced over the last 20 years of doing this. So I pulled up midway.com and I went through and I just looked at some of the stuff that I've used over the past, and I picked out a big shopping cart full of stuff that a beginner reloader would need to reload precision rifle ammo. And we can kind of talk about some of the choices I made and where we can save money and where we need to spend a little bit more money. So let's head back into the shop and we'll take a look.
All right, guys, we're back in the nice warm shop. We got Midway USA pulled up on the computer, and we're going to start at the very bottom just because that's the way I added stuff to the shopping cart, so we'll go through it like that. The first thing we'll talk about is our press. So I selected this RCBS Partner Single Stage Press Kit. We can click on it and check it out, see what it comes with. So we have our press, a little powder measuring pan, a little shell holder, some brushes for cleaning the inside of our case neck, a nice handle for your brushes. These look like some primer pocket cleaning tools, set of Allen keys, a full spear reloading manual, looks like a lube pad and maybe some lube. There's a little digital powder scale, a funnel, then we have a chamfer and deburr tool. So there's a lot of different pieces tied up in that one kit, so it's a pretty cost-effective kit to get started. So we'll go back to our shopping cart here and go to where we left off. So before we move on from talking about reloading presses, it's important to note that the press is a very important component of the whole reloading process. So you want to pick something that's good and the highest end press that your budget will allow. So for the purpose of this video, we're talking about a very budget-minded reloading setup. And if you can see over here on the right, we have a total of just under $600. So if your budget will allow it, I would recommend getting an even better press than this. You can upgrade to the RCBS Rock Chucker for $209 for just the press, and they have another kit for $459 that uses the Rock Chucker press, and it gives you a powder throw and a whole bunch of other things. So once again, this is just for the bare bones budget setup. So we're going to keep on going over the rest of the stuff that we picked out here. And moving up here to our Lee Quick Trim die. So having uniform case length is very important, and this is a really cheap way of doing it. So essentially you just thread this die into your reloading press. You can adjust the height obviously by how much you thread it in, and then set the height with this lock ring on it. And once the case is in there, the case will protrude through the top of it, and you take a common file and you just file off the top of the case, and it makes very accurate cuts on your case. So you're going to have very consistent lengths on all your cases. And moving up, I have this Lee Improved Powder Funnel Kit. I found these are very handy, especially when you're reloading stuff like 6.5 Creedmoor and 308 and stuff that's in the 40 grain range of powder drop. So what this does is it comes with a whole bunch of little scoops in different increments, and you can use those to get the majority of your powder in the powder pan on your scale. And from there on, you're going to use this Redding number 5 powder trickler to trickle up to your exact powder weight. But these get the bulk of your powder in the tray really fast. And once you figure out which scoop to use, you can get it within a grain or two, and then you're just trickling up to your actual target amount with this trickler here. So moving on up to some other tools here. So we have a lock and load bullet comparator set. So I talked about this on a couple of my videos. I use one made by Sinclair. It's exactly identical to this one made by Hornady. Basically this comparator this comparator goes into your calipers, and then you have these inserts here, and these are for individual calibers. And this is how we take an accurate measurement of our loaded cartridge length. So remember, we try not to use the tip of the bullet because those have inconsistencies in them. So we use the ogive of the bullet, and that's what this tool does. It allows you to take a measurement from the ogive of the bullet to the head of the case. And moving on to our next two tools, we have this K&M shell holder retainer and power adapter, and this Lee universal shell holder. And the shell holder fits in this K&M part to secure your case in there. And what this does is it allows you to spin your cartridge case in a cordless drill, and it makes the chamfer and deburr process pretty effortless. And also, you can set this up on a bench, and using a common MAP gas torch or a common propane torch you buy at your local hardware store, you can set up a pretty effective little annealing operation, and it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money, and you can get some good results. So you're going to want to use a temperature indicating fluid like Tempolac or something that's going to get you in the right area of heat to effectively anneal your cases. Make sure you're not over annealing them or under annealing them. So moving up here, more case prep stuff. We have a budget $69 Barry's QD 500 vibratory tumbler. I've heard good things about these. I've never owned one myself, but we're on a budget here and that thing fits the bill. And of course, we need a media separator to get the corn cob or walnut media out of our cleaned brass. So this Frankfurt Arsenal works great. I personally use one of these. They work awesome. I've had mine for probably 20 years. And then I included some Frankfurt Arsenal brass cleaning media in there. So I go back and forth between walnut and corn cob. Sometimes I'll mix both. Right now I have corn cob in my vibratory tumbler, and I could add walnut next. I don't really have a preference either way. I get whatever's cheapest, and it all seems to work pretty good. And then we have our priming tool. So this is the one of two priming tools that RCBS sells, and this one takes these RCBS shell holders that I have right above it. So you buy the appropriate shell holder for the cartridge you're reloading, you slide it in the top of the priming tool, and you can do your priming by hand from there. And these tools work great. It gives you a little bit of a hand workout, but it's not too bad, and it fits the budget. And we'll go all the way down here to the bottom because one important item is on back order, and that's these National Metallic digital calipers. So the price of calipers can range from $15 stuff you buy on Amazon all the way up to $300 or $400 certified calibrated calipers that they use in the aerospace industry. So this is obviously on the bottom end, but it's going to get you where you need to go. And it's one of those things that it's not a big expenditure. So in the future, if you want to upgrade your calipers to some Brown and Sharp calipers or Mitutoyo calipers, then feel free to do so. And it's just going to help you out in the long run. So that's it. I'm probably forgetting a couple things, but I think for the most part, that would get you through the precision rifle reloading process pretty effectively. And when you look at the price here, it's just under $600. So the price of 300 Win Mag in the local stores right now is between $60 and $100 for a box of 20. So I'm telling you right now, you can reload 300 Win Mag for a lot cheaper than that. So if you're loading big cartridges like that, 300 PRC, 300 Win Mag, even 6.5 Creedmoor nowadays, you're going to pay for this thing in a few hundred rounds. So it's going to pay off rather quickly. Now, handgun rounds, on the other hand, you're not going to see as much of a cost savings when you're reloading, say, 9mm or something like that. I don't do that anymore because it's just not worth it, not worth your time. So most of my reloading nowadays is precision rifle cartridges. I hope this helps some people out. I know it's really confusing when you're first starting out. There's just a lot of products out there and you have to sort through all the noise and figure out what works for you. The best way to do that is to talk to other people who've been reloading for a while and use them as a resource. Everyone has their own procedures and what works for them and what doesn't work. So you kind of take all that information and you turn it into your own little formula and find the tools that work best for you. But this will give you a good idea of how to start, and just kind of looking at this thing in hindsight. The only thing that I might change if your budget were to allow it would be maybe upgrade your seating die to a micrometer die made by Forster, Hornady, or Redding, or whatever brand you like. But other than that, this is a pretty good list, and it should get you started. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments section. If you have any recommendations for videos in the future, put it in the comments section, and we'll go from there. Thanks for hanging around, guys. See you next time.